The soft glow of the candle on the dinner table felt less like romance and more like an irritating buzz of a mosquito hovering in the dark. Instead of soothing me, it gnawed at my patience. Across from me sat Rachel, my wife of 6 years, idly pushing at her grilled salmon with a fork. She wasn't eating, not really. Her attention was glued to her phone, thumbs moving with precise, mechanical swipes. "Can we at least enjoy one meal without your phone?" I asked, keeping my tone as even as I could. She jerked her head up, startled, like a child caught sneaking candy before dinner. Her lips parted as if she were about to offer some excuse, but instead she gave a short, dismissive nod and flipped the phone face down on the table. For a moment, I wanted to believe her gesture was sincere. I wanted to trust her, but the faint, sly smile tugging at the corner of her lips told me otherwise. I took a sip of wine, my gaze drifting back to the phone. The screen flickered faintly with a new notification, then another and another. Rachel's hand twitched toward it, fingertips brushing the edge, as though it were a lifeline she couldn't bear to lose. I wasn't naive. For months, I'd sensed something was wrong. The late nights at work, the hurried deletion of messages whenever I entered the room, the way she treated intimacy like a chore she was too tired to complete. I had chosen denial, telling myself that facing the truth would hurt too much. But tonight was different. Tonight I would stop pretending. "Go ahead," I said, gesturing toward the phone. She hesitated, then picked it up, her eyes flicking nervously toward me as she unlocked the screen. She angled it away, but it was too late. Over the rim of my wine glass, I caught a glimpse of a name. Evan. My chest tightened. She began typing quickly, her thumbs moving like lightning. My eyes bore into her, but she didn't seem to notice. "Who's Evan?" I asked, my voice calm despite the storm building inside me. Her head snapped up, her face paling. "What? Evan?" I repeated slowly, each syllable hitting the air like a slap. "The guy you're texting during dinner." For a heartbeat, guilt flashed across her features, but it was gone as quickly as it came. Her expression hardened. "You're being ridiculous, Mark." Ridiculous. That word shattered my restraint. I reached across the table, snatched the phone from her hands, and hurled it against the wall. It exploded into shards, the sound cracking through the dining room like a gunshot. Her gasp was sharp and full of outrage, but I didn't care. For the first time in months, I felt in control. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she screamed, springing to her feet. "What's wrong with me?" I shot back, matching her volume. "You're sitting here in our home, at our table, texting another man while I'm trying to save this marriage. What's wrong with you?" She stared at me, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. For once, she had no clever retort, no manipulative spin to make me the villain. That silence was all the confirmation I needed. By the time Rachel stormed out, slamming the door behind her, my mind was already racing. My rage burned like a wildfire, but underneath it was something colder, a precise, calculating determination. I wouldn't let her betrayal destroy me. No. I would destroy her first. The next morning, I called out of work and began gathering information. Our shared phone bill was my first stop. It didn't take long to find Evan's number, a number she'd been messaging obsessively for months, often late at night. I hired a private investigator, Frank, a no-nonsense professional with a reputation for getting results. Within days, he handed me a thick manila folder. Photographs of Rachel and Evan meeting at a hotel, transcripts of their texts, even a booking confirmation for a weekend getaway charged to our joint credit card. It was worse than I had imagined. She hadn't just made a mistake. She had built an entire second life with him. Step 1. Protect my finances. We shared a bank account, but I had a private savings account she didn't know existed. I moved most of our joint funds there, leaving just enough to avoid suspicion. I then froze our credit cards, ensuring she couldn't pile debt onto my name. Step 2. Secure the house. Rachel always assumed our home is ours, but in truth, I had bought it before we married. The deed was in my name alone. I met with my lawyer and started the eviction process. By the time she realized, it would be too late. Step 3. expose her. I gathered every piece of evidence Frank had collected and anonymously sent it to her family, friends, and colleagues. I even left a truthful, scathing review on the hotel's public page, describing her adventures in detail. When Rachel returned that evening, she was greeted by a locksmith changing the locks. She marched toward me, fury and panic written across her face. "What the hell is going on?" she demanded. I handed her a manila envelope, divorce papers, along with copies of the evidence. Her eyes skimmed the documents, her face draining of color. "You think you can just throw me out?" she hissed. "This is my home, too." "No," I said evenly. "It's my home, and you've overstayed your welcome." She tried to argue, to cry, to twist the story, but I didn't budge. By the end of the week, she was gone. Evan didn't escape and scathed either. I found his employer, a small tech startup, and sent a polite email detailing his behavior, complete with timestamps showing his trysts with Rachel during office hours. Within days, he was unemployed. Rachel's life collapsed. No job. No home. No friends. She ended up moving in with a distant cousin hours away. And me? I thrived. The first few weeks after she left were eerily quiet. But the absence of her toxicity was like breathing fresh air after years in a smoky room. I poured my energy into work, hobbies, and reconnecting with friends I had neglected during our marriage. One evening, sitting on the porch with a glass of wine, watching the sun sink into the horizon, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: peace. Rachel had tried to break me. In the end, she had only made me stronger. And that, I realized, was the sweetest revenge of all. If you enjoyed today's story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon for more. Thank you for watching.